on the phone to speak about the disaster that happened and the way forward. Let's move on and talk about the May Day that was marked yesterday with a parade in the Upper East region. More than 80 countries across the world yesterday observed May Day, also known as the International Workers' Day. The purpose of the day is to commemorate the efforts and victories of the workers' class and the labor movement, and celebrating the contributions of workers to the nation's economy and progress at the 2023 May Day event held at Bolgatanga in the Upper East region. President Akufo-Addo pledged to protect public income and pensions, calming the nerves of pensioners. He assured that government remains committed to turn things around and steer the economy out of grave times.
The government will do whatever it takes to protect your incomes and pensions in these challenging times. When we met last year at the Black Star Square in Accra, I assured you of government's commitment to protecting the jobs and incomes of workers. We have been very mindful of its potential impact on the pension funds of workers. We will not act in any way to shortchange workers in protecting their pensions. It is for this reason the government, through an MOU signed with organized labor on 22nd December 2022, decided to grant exemption to all pension funds in the domestic debt exchange program. In this regard, within global risk management practice, the options should include diversifying the portfolio of pension funds from the current 70% in government paper to real sector investments, including rail, housing, urban transportation, motorways and airports, as is done by other pension funds. I'm aware that both the Minister for Finance and the Minister for Employment and Social Relations and their technical teams have been working with organized labor and its associations and pension fund managers and trustees to explore these mutually beneficial options. I'd like to use this occasion to appeal to organized labor to work urgently with government to conclude the discussions within the spirit of social partnership and burden sharing towards addressing our economic challenges and providing a stronger base for our rapid growth and development.
Still on the Labour Day, updating Ghanaians on the status of the IMF bailout, President Akufo-Addo says the Ghana Financial Stability Fund will mitigate the impact of the Domestic Debt Exchange Program, DDEP, on the domestic financial sector. Ghana is in the process of restructuring its external debt, one of the conditions for the country to receive a $3 billion loan package from the International Monetary Fund.
For the past few months, the Ghanaian discourse has been dominated by the launch of the Domestic Debt Exchange Program. I wish to emphasize that participation in the Domestic Debt Exchange Program, voluntary as it was critical for the protection of the economy and the enhancement of our capacity to service our public debts effectively and create fiscal space for our growth and development. In the midst of the current economic crisis, we cannot risk defaulting in the payment of our public debts, which will attract severe consequences, and hence the debt exchange program. And steps are being taken to mitigate the impact of the domestic debt exchange program on the sector. As has been announced by the Finance Minister, we're establishing the Ghana Financial Stability Fund to provide, among others, solvency and liquidity support to eligible financial sector institutions which may be affected by the domestic debt exchange program. In addition, the Bank of Ghana and the regulators in the financial sector space have provided some regulatory reliefs to support affected institutions. In keeping with our common objective, government through the Financial Stability Council will monitor continuously the impact of the Domestic Debt Exchange Program on financial institutions to enable it to take remedial action if and when necessary.
Let's still stay a bit longer in the Upper East region because the labor movement, the Trade Union Congress, is already on the edge over the DDEP deal's potential impact on workers' suspensions. Its Secretary General, Dr. Yao Ba, at the 2023 May Day event, told the President that the economic crisis the country is experiencing is self-imposed and outlined measures to ease the economic challenges and turn the economy around.
We would like to appeal to you to convene a national dialogue on the economy so that all the stakeholders can meet and build a consensus on the way out of this economic crisis. That forum will also provide opportunity and pave the way to build a more resilient economy. The working people of Ghana and their unions are ready to play our part in the social and economic development of our dear motherland. The Saglame housing project, useful for Ghanaian workers. We should not and we cannot allow that project to go waste. When many workers who are contributing so much to Ghana's development cannot have places to lay their heads. We are appealing to you to use your good offices to change the fortunes of Tema Oil Refinery. That will be another great legacy indeed.
Now in Accra, the capital, workers were appreciated for their enormous contributions towards the economic development in the country.
And commend the hard work of all private and public workers in their various fields. The theme for the 2023 May Day celebrations was protecting incomes and pensions in an era of economic crisis, our responsibility. At a ceremony at the Black Star Square to commemorate the day, the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Mr. Henry Korti, said government appreciates the efforts and sacrifices of workers in spite of the economic challenges. He assured of the government's commitment to enact reforms to ensure better wages and salaries and pensions for the Ghanaian worker.
Undeniably, we are aware of the economic situation we are facing as a country and challenges of workers in the midst of this crisis. However, as a responsible government, we have taken several measures to protect Ghanaian workers, and it's against this backdrop that I find the theme for this year, quotes, protecting incomes and pensions in the era of economic crisis.
The Regional Secretary of the Regional Council of Labour, Madam Frida Frempong, made an appeal to the government to intensify the efforts towards the resolution of conflicts at Boko and also to cut some expenditure to protect incomes of workers in the country.
The ethnic conflict in the region is having a devastating impact on lives, property, businesses, jobs, schooling, healthcare, and social and religious activities, particularly in the Boko district.
Some workers from the various labor unions were honored with citations at the parade for their distinguished services.
Now, the Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana, CLOGSAG, is reiterating the call for the restructuring of SSNIT as managers of Tier 1 for SSNIT to deliver on its mandate efficiently under the contributory Tier 3 pension scheme at the commemoration of May Day celebrations and Thanksgiving service at CLOGSAG in Accra. A Deputy Executive Secretary of CLOGSAG, Mr. Kojo Krakani, said SSNIT must be restructured.
CLOGSAG is sending a warning signal to all forces, both visible and invisible, to steer clear of current pension arrangements as enshrined in the National Pensions Act 2008 at 766. He who has ears, let him hear this message. The outcry of public sector workers, especially teachers and civil servants, during the beginning of the 21st century, to be reverted onto government pension under either Cap 30, that is 1951, or the Teachers' Pension Fund 1952, led to the setting up of the Presidential Commission on Pensions in 2004. The Commission made profound findings and noted that, 1, workers generally believe that pension earnings were the responsibility of the employer only, and in this case, Ghana government. Another finding, best practices all over the world showed that pension is a shared responsibility, and thus the worker and employer ought to contribute towards an employee's pension in a fully funded scheme. Eventually, these recommendations culminated into the National Pensions Act 2008 at 766. As workers, we called for a better pension scheme that will yield reasonable gratuities or lump sums, and we had the Act 766.
Staying long on the May Day celebrations, the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union has called on employers to show commitment in paying workers a living wage in conformity with international standards. This, the General Secretary of the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, Mr. Morgan Ayawini, said would commensurate with the toils and sacrifices of Ghanaian workers for increased productivity, translating into economic growth and national development. He said this in a May Day message to workers.
In May 1886, 400,000 workers in many parts of the United States of America went on strike, demanding an 8-hour working day. This event, known as the Haymarket Affair, became an international symbol of the struggle of workers' rights, and May 1 was chosen to be the International Workers' Day. Marking the May Day in Ghana, the General Secretary of the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, Mr. Morgan Ayawini, said a tripartite partnership of government, employer and labor must be strengthened and effectively harnessed to work in tandem to find lasting solutions to the economic problems of Ghana. This, he said, is to achieve sustainable and long-lasting economic relief for workers and the people of Ghana. Mr. Ayawini called on government to ensure that the pension of the Ghanaian worker is not mishandled. This, he said, should be adhered to, as the survival of the worker is currently largely dependent on the present incomes and future pensions. Mr. Ayawini advised workers to continue to play the role expected of them in the economic equation of the country by working hard. He called on employers to motivate workers with the institutionalization of a living wage and stop the casualization of employment. The government was also called upon to put in place sound and effective economic policies and programs that would create conducive environment for economic growth and development.
What is your motivator each morning to go to work? Is it for the love of money, a sense of pride and dignity, sustenance and surviving the unforeseen future? For the market woman, it is for the combination of these reasons that she treks from dawn to dusk to earn her keep. GBC News places its radar on the market woman and the struggles they often bear to support their home. Here's a report by Sarah Ofori.
The market woman plays an indispensable role in our daily lives. So long as we eat, we wear, we sleep, we need the market woman to sell to us whatever we need to thrive in our daily lives.
In a perfectly competitive market, there is absolutely nothing used or deployed by a person that cannot be found in that space. Goods and services are readily available, and one is either selling or buying at the market. To understand how the market operates, I caught up with the president of the Greater Accra Market Association, Madam Messina Afuwa Nijan, at the Makola Market, where she is based. She was born and bred in the market, and so I noticed that her love for buying and selling goods has not waned even after she had enrolled and taught as a pupil teacher. She's so conversant with the rudiments of trading, there is no part of the market she's stranger to. Having spent 33 years of her life on the market, Madame Messina Afuwa Nijan eventually quit teaching to be the mouthpiece for the market and kept at what she loved, rising to become the president of the Greater Accra Market Association.
Market trading is not a leasing person's work. You have to be active, you have to be creative, you have to be innovative.
While it may not be heard of, she tells me some of the traders quit their professions too, in the banks, hospitals and judiciary, among others, to sell on the market.
Formally, people think if they say you are a market woman, then excuse me to put it, you are an illiterate. That is in the market. Formally, we have a lot of our members being illiterate, but presently we have teachers, lawyers, judges, doctors in the market.
There is a myriad of challenges faced by the market woman, from the lack of adequate trading capital to improper bookkeeping practices to limited space for traders, which explains why some women put their lives at risk by selling along the road.
So we find it very difficult to get loans from the official banks, because they will be asking for your book, your document, your this and that, which we don't have. So at the end of the day, we are not giving. We had a lot of market fires, like where I'm sitting now, here now. This place I've got burnt about 4 times, burnt to the scratch. But I don't think that we do collect people's money and burn the market. No, it is a disaster. You will see that they have started changing our electric wires and so on, because through their investigation, they said they found out that some of the fires are caused by illegal connection and old electrical appliances.
Taking a stroll through the market, we spoke to a number of traders to find out what motivates them to hold down this job and their peculiar challenges.
If I talk English, say cassava ejalawa. So ejalawa cho ko any bent no ko te beno ba ya sa anwenu. O npa government e fai na nwe dollar ne ba shi ko ni bi efe ba shi awo.
Ni bu ko ka ba machine, me ni ba bi na afesunu, me ni be ba he. Ame ise je ni gbo duro mo pe. Na ni ko ke ni e ba machine ohun.
Da no le be ni le no nu chumo ni e bo fe bo na yin wonyo tashi. Sano force ko baba
ko ba na e kwa kenle ni won machine e wo kenle wo wa ne ko ke ashia o wa na mani bi no ke ashia no awon agbe ke bi na me.
Sometimes too, some women doesn't have money to start their own business and they couldn't get joy, and sometimes too, we that have money to start the business, along the way sometimes we can make a profit, we can make a lose, and sometimes too fire will come and scatter everything and take away our joy.
Very bien, him so we are dreading. Very bien, hey, very bien, him cry. Hey, now you don't must go home. A pity office that could cry on to market 200. But we are going to me market is Sunka Crankra. Instead, your dear, ye pa.
A dreading, dear, cracking, I drew. And near me a way. Minimubia said, I am a torn or said, yes, I made it to swa. Men so men mocha. Into one cracker, Adrian. Nature say, Obeboka. Into a so much they be our Adrian a sharp.
Kayaye also play essential roles in the market, carting goods of consumers, yet their standard of living is poor. I realized that due to the peculiar schedule of the market woman, a basic school has been put up for those with infants and toddlers. Madam Mercy Jan refuted as rumors that some women depend on a spiritual belief system to attract customers.
Let me tell you, if somebody tells you that they use juju to sell, tell the person he or she is lying. It will depend on how you receive your customers, how you work with your customers, how truthful you are with them, the way and manner you arrange your goods, the way and manner you just clean your place, and your general atmosphere.
She was concerned about the fluctuating inflationary prices due to the depreciation of the cedi and said the market woman has no choice than to pass on the cost to the consumer. As we wrapped up the conversation, she advised market women to be health conscious and not bleach their skin and sell on the scorching sun. Sarah Furi, GBC News, Makola Market, Accra.
Away from the Makola market, the National Communication Authority has introduced a short code starting yesterday, May 1, 2023, for subscribers to verify their SIM cards associated to the Ghana card. There have been several reports of users lamenting fraudulent linkages of other numbers to their Ghana card. Subscribers have been calling for a common and simple system that will allow them to verify their numbers linked to their Ghana cards. On a visit to some parts of the capital, many subscribers say they are not aware of the short code and called on the NCA to intensify education. One can verify by dialing a short code *402*1# on all networks.
The National Communication Authority has introduced a short code starting today, May 1, 2023, for subscribers to verify their SIM cards associated with the Ghana card. We are here to talk to the public if they've heard about the short code.
Announcement no biante. We say Ghana card we say anybody bebre wo ye hakra omunye bi. Omonte kura mpose dogobi no abe.
Yeah, I've heard of it. To anyone who hasn't done his own yet or her own yet should follow the procedure and then complete the registration. If only they want to keep using the SIM. So
pass e bia ma men papa mu wo klase. Hotel kra bia woni bi. Obesi dan na bibia te sa ba Otimia follow, on Timin follow, and to Omlana, Emlyn, you say, Cobabiana, Amasena, Huna, the baby quas ma, and I say, no, Nancy, I said, Juma, and Sanomba Mana, Juma, Mamma, and I am aware. And I've been trying it since, but it's not working. They keep sending me messages about the unknown application. So I don't know how I'm going to do it. If since the code they give us is not working, I don't see any seriousness about that.
Enlightenment has to go on people, because for me I haven't heard of it, because usually when I wake up I'm at work, so I don't know how, but usually when they want to register people they go door to door, so maybe if they could come to the organization.
I have heard it, but I haven't done the verification yet, and I'll be doing it in the course of the week. But I'm urging each and every one of us to do it when we have the ample time.
There's no much education on that, so our editor is to create more awareness, for people to get to know the code so we can get access of it.
Reporting for GBC News, Nana Echa Abwaji, Accra, Circle.
From Circle, let's take you to the international front. And JP Morgan Chase is set to take over the troubled U.S. bank First Republic in a deal brokered by regulators. The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, FDIC, confirmed the statement that First Republic Bank had collapsed on Monday. Investment banking giant JP Morgan will take on all of the deposits and the majority of First Republic's assets. First Republic is the third U.S. bank to collapse in recent months, which has prompted fears of wider banking crisis. It follows on from the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank, SVB, in March, and the demise of another U.S. lender, Signature Bank. In a scramble to come up with a rescue package for First Republic, U.S. officials were understood to have contacted 6 banks. JP Morgan will take on $173 billion of loans, about $30 billion of securities, and $92 billion of deposits from First Republic. As a new month, we want to know how our weather will fare. Will it be just like April or better weather conditions for farmers and fisherfolk? Felicity Ahafianyo joins us on the phone line now. Good morning, Felicity.
Good morning, Mulcity.
You did say fair weather conditions for the May Day parade in Bolga, and that's what we experienced. But today, Tuesday, what's happening with our weather across the country?
Thanks so much, and good morning to our dear viewers and listeners. Today, we are expecting a fairly stable weather across the 60 regions. Pretty cool for any outdoor activities. We are expecting cloudy this morning over the extreme coast, Greater Accra, Central and parts of Western regions, and some portions over the Ashanti region. Later in the day, we expect it to become partly cloudy and sunny. We are having 30 to 40% chance of rain today over just a few places in the Eastern region, Ashanti region, parts of Greater Accra, part of central and then parts of western and western north region this afternoon, late afternoon into the evening hours. For the state of the sea, we expect it to be rough, and then we don't expect massive rain and thunderclouds over there. Fisher folks can navigate. For the Volta Lake this morning to the late afternoon will also be pretty cool with any fishing activities. But late afternoon, those of us around Kong, Akosombo area, Kwame Danso area should watch out for some rain and thundercloud formation. So once the clouds are becoming darker, the wind speed starts picking up. They just have to pack and go back home, return after the rainstorm. So for today, this is how we are expecting it to be. In terms of the whole month, yes, we are expecting rain in the whole month, but not every day. We expect it to also be sunny most of the time, and then it will be pretty cool for all of us in the country.
Right. Thank you so much, Felicity Afionyo. Yesterday, Workers' Day, she was doing this with us because we're here to entertain, educate, and inform you whether it's a holiday or not. But that's it for GTV Breakfast News. There's more news when you log on to gbcghanaonline.com. She did say for the month of May, it's a mixed bag, rain and then sunny weather conditions. Up next, we're looking at asthma. It's a condition a lot of people battle with. I'll be back at 7 with